Hi everybody, yep, it's Manjaro Day again, 12 and a half. Alright, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's going in. Oh, it's better. Yeah, I'm trying to make my brain lose a bit of fat as well. Anyway, yes, how are you all doing? That was my last dose, so I can bin it now. There we go. I personally, apart from recording, I work entirely digitally in the box when I mix. I'm talking about mixing and mastering here. Production is production. Now, when I record vocals, I do use analog. Believe me, I've tried both. I have a beautiful mic, lovely blue Kiwi mic, going into an amazing LA610 Mark One, the silver one, which is quite rare now, and it's wired up quite differently from the black Mark II version. Um, I would say the one I have is just amazing. I get the most amazing vocal sound. I mean, yeah, vocalists come from all over the world to record with me, believe it or not. And I think the combination of the mic and the LA610 are a big reason for my sound. Also the room. Um, so I've compared, believe me, um, my analog way of recording vocals and guitar, etc., compared to the unison technology in the Apollo Twin, using the equivalent sort of LA610 plugin. And while the sound is good in the Apollo, sorry about that. Let me put my phone on silent. While the sound is good in the Apollo, there's no comparison to recording in analog. Absolutely. However, it's my view that once you've recorded into the digital format, is that the right word? I.e., once you've recorded your vocals through analog or your guitar through analog into the digital domain, that's what I want to say, domain, in my case, Logic Pro, my argument would be, so then why then come out? Why then come back out of the digital domain back into analog? You've got the amazing sound by recording through your analog compressor or whatever you're using into the digital domain, because we live in a digital world. So then why come out of it? It doesn't make sense to me. And to me, digital is so much more accurate, and it doesn't come with all the problems and issues that people had back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Um, and yes, I agree that back in the sort of 90s, 2000s, let's say, I would say analog then was better. When VST plugins, reverbs, and EQs, etc., first came out, they were inferior. I know that from experience. I absolutely agree. But I think now plugins are so good that, to me, like, what? Why go back to the analog, to all the noise and the, like? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And again, I understand that some people love that analog, like, I'm going to call it warmth, analog sound. But again, if you really want to achieve that sort of saturation, again, plugins these days, some plugins at least, absolutely achieve that, but with absolute control and accuracy. And I will go through these plugins in future videos, like for example, Alkane. Alkane is incredible. I will give a demonstration of that. I sometimes using it on my master bus, and it's just, yeah, it's incredible. It really is. So things like oh, what is it I use? SSL fusion transformer. That's it. Again, beautiful, amazing, brightens up your sound and gives that sort of analog vibes. Um, so yeah, you can achieve that. Also on my I use SSL controllers, and like the 4kg SSL plugin, for example, it's got like a saturation knob on it. I use that. It's amazing, but at the same time, I've got the clarity and control of digital. Um, Now, one thing I would say, um, which I would never be without now, is controllers. So, well, let me show you. Okay, so as you can just see here, these are my controllers. And so I've got two SSL UF8s. I've got a UF1, again SSL, and an SSL UC1. And so I'll use the same plugin across every single channel. The SSL 4kg is my favorite at the moment. And to me, it's the same as like the old school analog desks in terms of control and feel. Like it speeds up my workflow, and like I get better mixes 100% working with controllers. I would hate to go back to a mouse. I really, really, really would. So these are amazing for me. But again, so I've got the hands-on feel, but I've got the digital sound. And I say digital, it's just a great sound. I embrace it. So um what I would say is very, very important is the room. The room is very important. This room is great. And I would say 100%, maybe the most important thing is the monitors. I don't mean a computer monitor. I'm talking about speakers, monitors. I've got a great pair of monitors. I think they're the best. Like they're incredible. They're the Ex Machinas. They're just brilliant. Um, so yeah, because think about it, if you can't hear properly, how are you going to mix properly? You need to get that low end and the high end. Yeah, they make a huge difference. So yeah, for me, if you've got great speakers, a great room, controllers, digital all the way. However, as I said before, to record in to the computer, into the digital domain, absolutely analog is the way. Now, that being said, there are many ways to skin a cat. Um, One of my best friends, Paul Ashmore from Audio Animals, he's like his studio like is absolutely analog. Well, it's hybrid actually, but all the analog gear he's got now um, is totally digitally recallable. Because again, another downside was like having to go back to these same mixes and try to like recreate the same mix if you had to go back to it later. That's all gone now. You get total recall on analog gear. So I mean, Paul gets an amazing sound. There's no question of it. His mixing and mastering is second to none. It's fantastic, and I'd highly recommend, if you don't want to come to me, go to the Audio Animals. That's his company, him and Nick. I mean, they're incredible. No question of it. And he's completely analog. So yeah, absolutely, you can get an amazing sound with analog, just as good. I'm not saying digital is necessarily better. It's different. Um, I just think for me, it's definitely as good. It's definitely as good, in my opinion. I know Paul would argue differently, but in my opinion, it's as good. You get the clarity and you can get the warmth as well, for sure. It's easier. So for me, it's the way forward. But yeah, I'm not criticizing analog either. I mean, it does sound amazing as well, equally as good for sure. Um, just different. So, but yeah, I don't agree with the argument that analog is better. That's just my humble opinion. I get great results, so I'm going to carry on doing, like, what I'm doing. and Paul gets amazing results as well. So yeah, he shouldn't change anything, obviously. But yeah, I just wanted to give you my opinion. Analog versus digital. For me, digital wins.